In these examples, I want to see if I have enough information to prove that the two triangles are congruent. At this point, we only have one way to do it, and that is to match up all 6 parts of both triangles, meaning I know that all 3 pairs of sides are congruent and that all 3 pairs of angles are congruent. Later on, we'll take a look at some shortcuts, and if you're reviewing this video, maybe you already know the shortcuts, but at this point, we only know that way to do it. So in our first diagram, I can see that I have one pair of sides matched up by that single tick mark, and I can see that I have a second pair of sides matched up with a double tick mark, but I don't know anything about that third side. So, just making a couple notes on the side, I can see that I have 2 sides, or really 2 pairs of sides, that are congruent to each other, okay? I can also see that I have an angle tick mark there, matching up to an angle tick mark there, but again, nothing about the other angles, so I have one pair of angles congruent to each other as well. And so at this point, that's all the information that I have. So do I have enough to prove that these 2 triangles are congruent to each other? At this point, no, I don't. And as far as my explanation goes, I'm just going to say there's not enough info. And if I want to be even more specific, maybe I'll say no, there's not enough information. I only know 2 sides and 1 angle, and I need to know all 3 sides and all 3 angles. So I cannot prove at this point that these 2 triangles are congruent. It turns out that they're not congruent, which we'll take a look at later when we learn some shortcuts. But no, they're not congruent, there's not enough information. Compare that to this diagram on the right. This one's a bit more complex. The triangles overlap each other. And so let's start with our sides. Actually, no, I take that back. Let's start with our angles. I can see that I have, that single pair of angles, that single tick mark angle matched up. I've got a double angle up here matching up to a double angle down there. And then I've got the triple one as well. So for angles, I'm set. I have all 3 pairs of angles congruent, so that's good. I'm halfway there. 3 pairs of angles congruent. I'm halfway there to proving that triangles are congruent. If I can get all 3 sides, I'm good to go. So let's see what I've got for sides. I've got the single tick mark side, there's 1 pair. I've got the double tick mark side, there's the second pair. Ooh, so close. Like, I've got 2 pairs of sides, but I don't have that third pair. But there's something interesting about that third side. We can see that, well, the upper triangle that has that side XZ in it. Well, the bottom triangle also has that same side XZ in it. In other words, they share that side. And so if I want to, I can actually add a tick mark to that. Obviously, some side is going to be congruent to itself. So anytime we have a triangle like this that overlaps and shares a side, we can add a tick mark. Now, the reason we're allowed to do that is something called the reflexive property, which just means something is congruent to itself. It's everyone's favorite property because it's a really easy tick mark we get to add to the diagrams. Anytime you have something that overlaps, and we can have angles that are shared as well, we add a tick mark and say it's true because it's the reflexive property, something's congruent to itself. So being able to do that, it turns out that, yeah, I have all 3 pairs of sides, 3 pairs of sides congruent as well. And so then to go back and answer the original question, are the 2 triangles congruent? In this case, yes. I can say they are congruent to each other. My reasoning will be because I know all 6 parts, the 3 sides and the 3 angles, are congruent to each other.